Welcome to the show, guys. Joseph Robert, the fantasy football counselor. In this video, we are talking about Waiver Wire Week 5. Got some names here for you, and also the latest news and notes. We have some injuries to some key players, including a guy I told you to avoid. That is T. Higgins, who is suffering with a rib injury. Going to cover the latest news and notes here, and of course, go over the optimal pickups for Waiver Wire Week 5. On the show here, he's not on the screen. He's recording remotely today. But Jim, welcome to the show. We don't have your face here today. What's going on, man?
That's just good news for your viewers there. They don't have to look at me. So it's fine.
We got you on audio. So Jim is on the show, but only via audio today. He's recording remotely. He's out with the family. All right, before we get into this, Jim, I don't know if you've done it before. Maybe you're hiding because you're in the bathroom right now using the Manscaped. Sure, we got the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. Go treat yourself, guys, right now. Trim your balls with confidence. Manscaped.com. The code you want to use on their site is Showerline20. They've got amazing boxers, guys. They've got underwear. They've got this body buffer here that I use to scrub my body. Too much. Maybe Jim, are you in the shower scrubbing your body? Is that what's going on right now?
God, I hope not. That would be embarrassing. But you know what? We got the holidays coming up. And you need to give that information to your girl so that she can get you some of this stuff for Christmas.
Absolutely. Manscaped.com, Showerline20 is the code you want to use. All right, go treat yourself to the site right now. All right, man, let's talk really quickly. Latest news and notes here, Jim. I mean, there are some injuries here. Kenny Pickett with getting tested for an MRI. I think it's like an MCL strain. Might miss a couple weeks. I don't know how serious. I don't think it's that serious. We got T. Higgins out with the ribs. We got Evans here with a hamstring injury. Came out of the game. Anything else I'm missing here? There were injuries that really jumped out at us this week.
Just my pride, man. It was a tough week, man. I don't know what's going on with these teams, and I'm like, this team's going to do great. Cincinnati, no. Jacksonville, no. I'm like, what the heck's going on? And New Orleans also just garbage this week. So
Olave had a rough game from what I saw here. I didn't have him started any of my leagues, but I understand you had him. He had a rough weekend. I got to tell you, I won all my weeks. I had a great week this week. I mean, Dameon Pierce came on, had a decent game. Najee Harris put up a few points. Justin Herbert, literally, his back is sore. He's carrying my teams. It's been a pretty good season, man. I'm in that big money league. I'm 3-1 in that league. I'm very grateful, man. I had a good week. And yesterday, I'm in this 2-quarterback league. Remember I told you I'm in that quarterback league where I got Goff and Jordan Love. Remember that league?
Yes.
So I was up, I was down like 16 points going into the game or so, give or take. And then Garrett Wilson in the fourth quarter, his last 2 catches, I won the week because of that. Again, the reason I got so screwed this week in that league was Addison put up a donut. Jordan Addison. Are they not using that guy? Like, I don't know what is going on, man.
Well, I think there's just too many mouths to feed. You know, Hockenson also didn't do that much. Also, you know, it was just basically Justin Jefferson as the only receiver that did anything for Minnesota this week. But I wouldn't be too worried about it. What I'm more concerned about is Olave and the fact that Kamara came back from suspension. Kamara got 14 targets yesterday, didn't do anything with them, and Olave got 1. So I think part of it might be the reason that Carr has that injured shoulder. You know, he's not able to throw the ball as far downfield as he has been able to in the past. Hopefully that resolves itself rather quickly because that was not good for me. So didn't like that at all.
Yeah, and I got to say that also a little bit off topic here, not really off topic, but that game was pretty entertaining with the Jets. I know we knock on Zach Wilson, but literally he found another gear. I don't know what happened, but he looked pretty good. And you could say, well, maybe the game was a little rigged here with, I don't know what was happening. There were some bad calls that didn't go their way. When they went Mahomes' way, but it was a decent game. And then at the end, they kind of just fell apart here. The Jets did to the Chiefs yesterday. Good game, though.
Yeah, they definitely played above expectations, and we'll see if Zach Wilson can continue to put that together. Also Najee's another one. He looked like he came alive this week. It's like, wow, he's actually doing something on the field. That was good to see. Well, we'll see if that continues as well.
And you even hear the announcers like, yeah, Najee's playing for his job. And he was playing for his job and he came alive on some runs, which that's the fire that they need out of him, man. I don't know what else to tell you. He needs to pick it up hard. All right, let's talk about the quarterbacks. Let's go through waiver wire week 5 here. At this point, your team should be relatively solidified, although there is some people that you can pick up off the wire. So, Jim, why don't you just list off here some quarterbacks that you think are viable here for week 5 waiver wire pickup?
Yeah, I mean, if you are in need of a quarterback, like, there are some quarterback injuries going around. Carr's injured, Garoppolo's injured. There's a number of guys that are hurt. I would say your number one priority for pickup should be C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
He looks great. I mean, geez, I'm very impressed with what he's been putting together here in his very young career. I think I was hearing something on Saturday that he already has 2 300-yard games in his first 4 games, and just that. I think he has also gone the longest, a rookie without throwing an interception yet. I don't think he's had any interceptions
Yeah.
yet. He looks fantastic. So, and he's only rostered in about 50% of leagues right now. So I would absolutely go out and pick him up and put him on your bench as a really solid QB2.
Yeah, Nico was the guy yesterday. I was a little upset with Tank Dell's performance. It was the Nico show yesterday, and I think next week I'll go back to Dell. Dell's, I think, is the main guy. But again, CJ Stroud really looking good. If he's available in your league, definitely worth picking up for this upcoming week and moving forward. He looks like a consistent fantasy producer. And after just the Sunday games, when I filter here by quarterbacks, he's a top 10 quarterback, 21.84 points. CJ Stroud, not bad.
Yeah, pretty good, man. And again, a 3-touchdown game. That's fantastic. A couple other names I do like. We got Russell Wilson, who's playing against the Jets next week, and we got Sam Howell, who's playing against Chicago next week. So I think those guys are really good as streaming options. They're both at home next week, and so likewise, these are 2 guys that I think are very much startable. I think Russell Wilson's been better than the team than you would think for how the team is doing. But he's actually been pretty good for fantasy. So anyway, I think both those guys are great pickups for quarterbacks as well.
2 additions here. Anthony Richardson, I doubt he's available in your league, but if he is.
Oh yeah, he's like 90% rostered. You can't get him.
You never know. Someone may have dropped him with the injury. Who knows? I mean, 2 touchdowns yesterday. And then also Joshua Dobbs, we talked about him, 2 touchdowns, 23.4 point games. Not bad. Moving on to running backs here, man. First one that jumps out to me is Jaleel McLaughlin, 7 attempts, 72 yards. He's the next man up, 10.3 yards per carry. Is that sustainable? He also had a receiving touchdown, so just under 20 points in PPR. But I heard that Javonte Williams' injury, it's a hip flex or something like that. It's not that serious. So, it may be maybe next week, maybe the week after, maybe he's gingerly, playing gingerly next week. He's kind of not full workload, but McLaughlin could be viable here. What do you think of him?
Well, I mean, definitely if why am I drawing a blank on
Javonte?
Yeah, if the running back is out, Jaleel McLaughlin, I think you can start. He did really good yesterday, but he only had 7 rushes and 3 targets. That's not enough to want to start him. And yeah, he had a great game. He did a lot with what he was given, but I would not feel comfortable starting. But I think he is an excellent pickup. Absolutely, look for this guy on your waiver wire, and I would roster him for sure. So anyway, that's one name. Also, a couple of players getting more volume. Tyjae Spears is increasing his role on that offense. Yesterday he had 5 rushes and 4 targets. Again, not a guy you can start yet, but certainly trending in the right direction.
Right.
He is getting a larger and larger role each week, which is very positive. And then we've got both Chuba Hubbard and Gus Edwards. Both those guys were over 15 total touches and targets, which is kind of like my dividing line for whether or not you can start the player. So I think both those guys are startable. For Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, I think, is dealing with an injury, was not effective yesterday, has been having problems with fumbles and turnovers. So Gus Edwards got 15 rushes and 3 targets. Chuba Hubbard got 14 rushes and 2 targets. Those guys are definitely worth rostering and possibly putting into your flex if you need someone. Because we got bye weeks coming up next week. Oh, that's something we forgot to mention, man. Your quarterback is going to be on bye next week. And who else is on bye? Hold on.
Are you talking Herbert's on bye next week? I haven't even looked.
Yeah. So make sure you got yourself a back. Okay, so we've got 4 teams on bye next week: Chargers, Bucks, Seahawks, and Browns.
Okay. Yeah, so I got to start queue up my. This is why I always say get a good backup quarterback. This is very, very important, guys. So I'm gonna have
So
to
who
fire
is
up.
your backup quarterback in your league with?
Oh, depends on which league. So the Herbert one, I think I got Brock Purdy in one of them as a backup, and then in my
Oh, okay.
other league, I got Trevor Lawrence as my backup, I believe.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, sorry,
There
no,
you
that's my
go.
Josh. No, sorry, that's my Josh Allen. See, I can't even keep track of this. That's my Josh Allen league. So yeah, Brock Purdy's my backup with the Herbert. And I got to check out who my backup is in my other league. Let me pull it up right now while we're talking here. I'm curious now. Now you got me curious, man. I should have looked at I don't even look. I'm so focused on this week, and I got to sign in and figure this out. So I got one with Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, that league, and then I got the one with Brock Purdy as my backup. Oh, my other one is Jared Goff as my backup. So I'm good in that league as well. There you go.
Oh, okay. Great.
Oh, yeah, I
Okay.
didn't double my
Good.
bye week. So, all right. So let's move on. So running back. Oh, one more thing with running backs here. Ronnie Rivers, if you want a bit of a reach here, he had 9 attempts, 42 yards. Rams running back, 5.2 yards per carry, 2 receptions. Again, 9 attempts for 47 yards. Not the greatest, but hey, a Rams running back, Ronnie Rivers, if you're absolutely desperate. This is why I say robust RB, guys. You should, week 5, Ronnie Rivers isn't necessarily going to save you, but hey, maybe you never know. Watch Ronnie Rivers come out and tear it up. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's always good to get the depth pieces. I don't think he's startable, but he's definitely worth a roster spot. Just to wait and see, because we know what's happening every week in this NFL. There are these guys that just emerge because the person in front of them gets hurt. So there you go.
Okay, wide receivers. Who are we picking up here?
Okay, so the one that actually I gotta say, man, Terrace Marshall of the Carolina Panthers got 10 targets yesterday, and that is after he got 8 targets in week 3. So I do like that. I mean, that usage is a startable usage as far as a
Yeah.
wide receiver goes. So I think he's absolutely worth rostering here. Some other names that were actually surprising: Curtis Samuel was very effective for Washington yesterday, got 8 targets. And I think he got a couple of rushes as well. You got Tutu Atwell of the Rams, got 9 targets, although it looks like Cooper Kupp will probably be back next week. So I think that one probably you don't really need to roster. Tyler Boyd, if T. Higgins misses some time, he got 7 targets yesterday after T. Higgins went out. So that's pretty good. And Rashid Shaheed of New Orleans got 7 targets yesterday as well. So
And
those are all.
this is a little bit of a reach. Nick Westbrook, Akeen, I think it is 6 targets, 5 receptions, 51 yards, and a touchdown. But again, sometimes you got to watch. Tennessee's wide receiver got himself a touchdown. Again, sometimes they're just very touchdown heavy that game, and it's not sustainable. So Nick Westbrook is an option. And Braxton Berrios, 6 targets, 6 receptions for 43 yards, and a touchdown for 17.4 fantasy points. Miami's Braxton Berrios here. So
Yeah, and those guys that I mean, my threshold is kind of 7. I want at least 7 targets to consider a player to start. So those guys would be guys that are maybe worth putting on your bench, but I would not start them for next week. There's just not enough usage there to warrant a start.
yeah, be
And
careful those 1 week wonders, especially when
yeah,
they're inflated by a touchdown. You definitely want to be careful there.
right.
And wrap this up here, tight end. The guy I only got here is Ogletree here. Indy's running back, Indy's tight end, 13.8 points. He did have, again, I think he got a touchdown in there. 4 targets, 3 receptions. Drew Ogletree. Yeah, I don't know, man. Again, with tight end, I've been starting Laporta. I've been good. Who else do we got here? Cole Kmet, right? Big game.
Yeah, Cole Kmet really came on yesterday. I mean, he's only like 50% rostered in most leagues, but he got 11 targets yesterday. So that was fantastic. And as far as Ogletree goes, 4 targets, you just can't rely on that. I would not start or roster a player that's only getting 4 targets. But Jake Ferguson of Dallas got 7 targets yesterday. That's really good. And Jonnu Smith of Atlanta has gotten 6+ targets in each of the last 3 weeks, which is shocking because he was completely unused in New England.
Well, relationship with the coach, right, with Arthur Smith. So that's where it comes, and this is where the BS comes in. It's like you've got so much talent. You got Drake London, right? You've got all these amazing Kyle Pitts, and they're throwing to Geno Smith. Like this kills me, bro. It kills me.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's up with Kyle. I don't know why they don't throw these to Kyle Pitts, but they don't. And Jonnu Smith is getting these targets, so I would pick him up, man. I mean, he is a potential starter if you need a tight end, and his usage has been very consistent. So that's what I want to see when I'm looking at these positions. So yeah, there you go.
We're going to go over defenses real quickly, but make sure you guys do check out our starts and sits episode that comes out on Thursday. But who do we got here as good matchups coming up this week?
Yeah, these are great. If you stream your defenses, man. Washington plays Chicago at home. We already talked about that. That should be fantastic. Detroit plays Carolina at home, and Miami gets the Giants at home. So I think all three of those defenses are worth streaming this week if you need a D. So I mean, because I know like the Browns are off. They've been a fantastic defense.
They had it
None of
rough
these
this
other teams
past
have,
week.
but
I mean, Browns did not do good. I'm surprised. Browns kind of fell apart this week compared to.
Well, that's because they didn't have their quarterback, and they already lost, Nick Chubb. So that, they were starting a rookie 5th round quarterback yesterday. It was going to be rough no matter what. But yeah. So there you go, man. That's again, my whole philosophy: never stop improving your team. Always check your waiver wire, and I like to check it now. Put in some waiver bids, but also check it after waivers clear, because there's going to be some surprise drops in your team as people are trying to cover for the holes created by these other players that are on bye this week. So there could be some really sneaky pickups this week once the waivers clear. So definitely want to check it twice this week.
Yeah, definitely a wild week. And again, there's sometimes you have these guys that are, and again, completely inflating their numbers, right? I mean, Christian McCaffrey's been consistent. That's, again, I don't think he's going to finish the season. Again, I can't say, well, you can say that about anybody, but again, the pace he's going is just unbelievable. 48.7 points. David Montgomery inflated game. Certain guys have just these inflated games. If you play against them, you're going to have it tough. I mean, even A.J. Brown, 38.5, Stephon Diggs, 36. Some of these guys, Nico Collins, 35.8. It's not going to happen every single week unless it's Christian McCaffrey. He's been consistent, right? So if you guys are discouraged because you lost, sometimes you're playing these guys with inflated games. So just don't get discouraged. It's going to get better next week. And again, that happened to me. I think it was like week 1 or 2. That's why I'm 3-1 in this one big money league, is because I had that one really bad game. So just stay positive, guys. Stay positive out there.
That's right, man. Yeah, like I said, keep plugging away. And when it comes to like the CMC team, you only have to play that team once during the regular season for the most part. Right? You only have to play that team once. And there's nothing you can do when the opponent is the team that scores the most points in your league on the given week that they play you. There's nothing you can do. It's just like you just got to move on and keep plugging away and get the win next week.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, Jim, for staying on with us remotely and bringing us your audio. No visual here for Jim, but always great to have you on, Jim. Thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, thank you, counselor. Good luck in week 5, everybody.
Guys, week 5 waiver wire. Go to the waiver wire. Stay sharp on it. And make sure you guys subscribe, thumbs up, and drop some questions below. We'll get to some of them below. We'll talk soon, guys. We are out. Talk soon.